welcome to the channel. Today we are going to work on BMW 2011 323i. So what happened is there's a leak on the side, which is very common issues on these BMWs E90s. So there's a leak at the bottom, and if you see, there's another problem, which is gasket, valve cover gasket is kind of, you know, out there. So what happened, there was a leak, and there was an original gasket which I changed maybe couple of months ago. And this gasket I bought it from Lordco, and after replacing this, it worked only for a month or two, and now it started leaking again. But actually there's another problem. It kind of broke now in the middle, from two different sides, one in back there as well. So not sure if there was a, I tried to buy the good ones from Lordco, but not sure what happened. It was sitting there for a little while before I start working on this, so in my garage. So I'm not sure if if it's those gaskets are not very good, or due to time it happened. So now I have original. I bought it from BMW with all the other two other gaskets which I'll show down in the video. So I'll start working on it. I'll show you what to open and where to go. First, I would recommend to disconnect the battery from the back. You need 10 mm bit. Now to open rest of the screws, you need 8 mm bit. You're gonna start with the air vent here. So 1, 2, 3. 4, 5 screws. These are the screws. One more here. So total 6 screws. After removing that, we need to remove this part here. So for that, both sides, these covers need to come off. So clip here. Okay. So this clip just need to pull, and it will release in from both sides. Same on the other end. Now there's a sensor cable. I'll show you here. So this sensor cable need to be disconnected. Just press, it will come off like this, and remove this from here. Okay. around side, and now the screws here, one on the other end. Those these are again 8 mm. Just using the drill. We need to remove these cables, so just use any screwdriver, just a little bit slightly, just pull forward and it will disconnect from here. Now let me show you here. So now we need to remove this cable from this strap here. So what we need to use, again, use just a flat screwdriver, pry it here, both sides like this. Okay, and this will come off. Now pull the cable out. Okay, now this cover, we can lift it up. So it's a little bit tricky. It goes under here, so there's a seal all the way to the end. So I need to use both hands, so I'm just gonna put the camera back here. There's one more rubber strap here, need to come off, and this is out. Okay. Now we have a little bit of access here to the the cables from the battery, and this need to come off on this side, and also this port need to be loose from the middle and then remove from here, and this will come off, so we have access to the cover to open. Okay, so I'll start working with disconnect this cable from here so that we can move it a little bit away. We have more room, and yeah, if there's anything, I'll mention that. So to remove this cover, there are clips on the both sides. So just need to press it, and it will lift up. From here, bottom, same on this side, and here as well, locks, and so it will come off. Okay, just to show you, so the clips at the bottom, just need to release on both ends, and this will come up like this. And also there's a lock on the sides as well. Okay, so same on the other end. So now we have access to the cables here. We need to pull these out so that we can move a little bit away once we have this support out of the way, and also then we can remove all the connections from here as well. So to lose this support, we need to use the flat screwdriver again, Just turn a little bit here. So it will come off. Now there's a one bolt torque spade we need on the both end. So we need a E14 on the smaller end
and E18 on the bigger end. So also need a little bit of room there. I have to use extension as well because otherwise it's too low.
So we don't need to open the other one, the big one, all the way, because it's just holding there from one side, which is like this. Okay, but remove the smaller side, which is 14. So there's this cover need to come off. It's just a clip here. So once we have access here, pull it from the bottom. Now we have room to remove these two cables. So once we remove this cable, we'll have we can move these cables away, and with this cable we can a little bit move this away from the way. So bit we are going to use this number 10 for the smaller one. And 13 for the bigger one. Okay, so this should be, at least this should be out of the way. There's another cable going down here. We'll look into this. Okay. So we can put back the cover there as well. So even though it's disconnected from the back, but still I'm just gonna put the cover back in there. Okay. Just goes right in. Okay. Now we need to remove these 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts from the cover. To remove the top cover first. cover is out now. Now you can see, yeah, this was the gasket. So to remove this cover, we need to disconnect all the connections to the plugs. So we're gonna start removing this. So this is a centric shaft sensor. So I replaced this seal also. It was leaking before, which looks okay now. So I'm just gonna disconnect that. Okay, looks okay to me. Then we're gonna start removing these connections from the plugs. So I don't know if you noticed, as soon as I open this up, you know, it unclip from the connection here. So if it does that, that's okay. If it won't, then you need to use the flat screwdriver here to kind of, you know, pry it down, and that will disconnect the connection from here. So okay, so these all are disconnected. Also, once this is removed, we need to remove these connections as well. Two there, okay, and also connection from the Voltronic motor. Okay, so I have disconnected all these and also removed these clips, but this need to also come off. If you look closely, you just need to press it, these two sides from here. You'll see this is like moving, right? So same on the other end. Once you unclip that, it will come off. And then we're gonna move this away and we'll start disconnecting from this side. So I'm going to use a 8mm bit here to loosen these connections. So come out, and same for the other one. Okay. Now again, we're going to use the flat screwdriver here to pull these up. Okay. So as I mentioned, you need to use the flat screwdriver here, 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 3 sides, and then there's a clips. Once you remove this, the clip on this side as well, which is holding this in there. I don't know if you can see here, and both sides clips there. So just use the, because I'm holding the phone as well, so I'll remove using the flat screwdriver in there. I don't know if I can show you, but that's where the clip is. See, it's moving. So on the both hand, once you unclip it, it will come off. So this these connections are out. Now what we need to do is remove this harness from there. So once this is removed, we need to remove this harness from the fuel injector, a couple of connections from here, so that we can move this away, out of the way, once we're gonna remove the cover. So there's a different way to do it. One is you can just start slowly, mind you, slowly disconnect, and it will release the lock. But the second way to do is, which is I prefer, is you need to remove these locks out of the way. Once you do that slowly, okay, then you can start pulling out like one by one. You have 6 there, and once all these locks are released, it will start lifting up there, and that's a preferable way to do it. Otherwise you can damage the connections here down there. So I'll start doing that, then we'll have access. Remove the centric sharp sensor from here as well. We're gonna remove these sensors. So these are just a little bit easy. Just press this, and it's kind of same mechanism down there as well, underneath there, but we don't have access on the side. So basically what we're going to do is release this side lock, so that we can remove these fuel injector connections. Same for here, we're gonna pull this out. Okay, this is out of way. Okay, so yeah, I was able to remove these, as I said, slowly, do it slowly. Let me show you what I did here. So see, you need to use the flat screwdriver, make sure the locks are not in there, and keep moving forward. A little bit, start pulling, and it will start releasing. You have to do 6 all together. Okay, so once these are out, now you have access. We can move these harness away. Let me see, where is the yeah, so these are out of the way a little bit. Now we have room here. These cables also we can disconnect, and we'll put it on side, so that these cables are out of the way once we remove this. And also we can remove these plugs as well. First, these coils. So we're gonna start removing these coils as well, one by one, because we need access on these. Okay, I have removed all the coils from these sockets, and also make sure it's easier if you remove this out of the way. If it stay in there, it's a little bit hard when you remove the cover. So if it comes out, it would be good. So we're gonna move these cables out of the way as well. Just disconnect from here, 2 cables. You can just pull it out. just inside. You just need to little bit use the flat screwdriver to pull this away, and same on this one, so these will be out of the way as well. And from here, release these cables. Okay, because now in that way we'll have access on those 3 bolts in the back. One thing we need to remove is important is this connection as well, because there's a 1 bolt down there. Otherwise we won't have access to reach there. So one right underneath this spot here. So we need to disconnect this as well. So as I mentioned before, we need to remove this hose. It's a little bit tricky. The way actually, you know, technically it should come off once we press this, right? It should release the lock on the both sides, but it's hard to reach back in there. It's, you know, the spot is like that. So the best way is to press this hard enough so that the bottom, release the bottom lock first, and then top one you can use a little bit pry or something, a screwdriver, flat screwdriver or something to pull it out. Okay, so this is out of the way pretty much. Now we have access to all the bolts here. Just checking. Now what we need to, one thing we need to move away is, as I mentioned before, this thing we need to, so best thing is just lose these bolts. We don't need to disconnect anything from bottom. Just remove these bolts from here and put this out of the way, because we need more room once we're gonna pull the valve cover. So it was 2 10 mm bolts were here, so I just removed this out of the way, and the harness is also out of way now, so we have more visibility here down there. So we have actually 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18, and 2 these we need longer 10 mm bit to open these. Before this, we're gonna open this Valvetronic motor. About the Valvetronics motor, there are actually 3 bolts here, 2 in there and 1 at the bottom. Okay, so we need to remove these to open this up. Okay, so open the bottom one first, and then slowly start opening, you know, evenly on both ends. Once we have a loose, and you know, you can open with the hand, then hold it tight because it has a little bit of pressure to pull, you know, push out. So make sure just, you know, hold it tight when you're removing this one with the hand. So because it's going to release the pressure, there's a tension in there, so it's going to release the tension. It's going to push out, so make sure just check that. Okay, so I'll remove this, and if there's anything I'll let you know. Okay, so Valvetronic motor is out. As I mentioned before, there was 1 bolt was at the bottom and 2 were here. I changed this seal before, but I already bought another one just in case, and this one as well from BMW. What I had to use is this is a E8 bit Torx, which I used. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, with the longer extension. So as I mentioned before, you have to open the bottom bolt first, and then, you know, slowly on the both side, just hold the motor because there's a tension. It's gonna push out. Okay, now pretty much everything is off. Now what we need to do is just open all the bolts, starting with these 2, and there's a 1 in here. This should be also 10. So we're gonna remove 3 these and then start. This is E10. Sorry, this is a 10 millimeter bolt, but then those other are, I'm pretty sure those are 10 as well, but Torx. One thing I forgot to mention is, yeah, for sure you need the E10 here. but longer one. Okay, so I have a longer bit. Make sure you have longer one, otherwise you cannot reach this. And this is E10 as well. Sorry, this is 10 mm. Okay, bit. And the one for this one is Torx 10. Yeah, this is E10. Okay, so Torx E10 for the outer boards, and inside just a 10 mm regular. This is out, this is out, this is out as well. So this gonna come out, other two gonna stay in. Actually, same thing for all the outer board as well. You don't need to pull it out. Those gonna stay in. The one need to pull out, I'll show you those. So let's go for the tricky ones in the back first, and see how we're gonna open those up. So I'm gonna this swirl joint bit and connect this E10 in there. Okay. Reach out in there. So the way to do is just feel with the finger here in the back, and once you know the bit is in, it's not moving, it's in, and then open it up. So the same way to do other two as well. Those are in the back. Same concept. Again, just feel the board with the hand. Once you know the bit is catching the board, and then you will know it's open. And the last one is at the bottom. And I might need a little bit longer extension there. Okay, so that's out as well. Then you can just open with your hand. As I mentioned, those bolts you don't need to remove. They're gonna stay in there with the cover, so no need to worry about that. It's gonna fall. just these one in the front. There's the one more which is down here, is also I don't know if I can show you here. So the one down there, let me just switch it back. Okay, one down there is actually, let me show you here. So one down there is a little bit tricky. So the way to reach is, I don't know if I can show you here. Let me try to put it my camera here and then I'll see if I can show you. So best way to do is first try to run this just the extension there, and see if you can put it into the bolt. You might not need a swell joint here, but I'm just gonna try. I think if I remember correctly, you don't need the swivel joint, so just use the longer extension and put it down there. Okay, so it's in there. I might need another extension, or I could use probably swivel joint here. Okay, so it's in. Here we go. Yeah. Sometimes what happens is swivel joint is a little bit, because it's a wider, and that's why it's probably gonna not work here, but you can try. I remember I think I had to remove last time as well. Okay, so this is coming out. Okay, and then you don't need joint, but it's a little bit handy on the bottom ones. Okay, so finally all bolts are open, and as I said, it won't come out. You don't need to pull these out. Okay, he's gonna stay in there, so make sure everything is off. Yeah, so then it's moving. You can see it's moving. Okay, now I'll see if I can show you guys, but it's gonna be a bit tricky to pull this out. One thing also I noticed, you have to remove this part, this rubber out of the way, because when it's at final point to come out, it's usually stuck here, because there's not enough room from here to at the bottom. So it's a little bit tricky there. I'll show you later, but just keep in mind, I'm gonna remove this rubber from here, rubber seal. Other than that, yeah, it's out of the way. This gonna stay like this. We're just gonna move it out, and these cables as well.
The way to do is, there's no way to do it actually. So just pull it up, make sure this goes out of the way, and this is kind of from the base. Just gonna see if I can pull it out.
Okay, so this is the gasket I changed recently, maybe a couple of months ago. And if you see here what happened here, so there's not much oil in the plug, but still this was kind of, you know, happening as well. So as I mentioned before, so yeah, I bought this time from BMW. I didn't want to take any chance. Two bolts need to remove, the bottom ones actually need to pull out, need to come out. All other gonna stay in there. Okay, all other are in there, and even the middle ones as well, two middle ones. Okay, so only these two need to come out at the bottom. So I'm going to use this silicone here, clear silicone. I bought it last time for this purpose. We need to use this, you know, just to put some dots so that it can hold the gasket in place. Okay, so we're gonna put a little bit, just a little bit on the corners especially, and preferably this is the bottom side of it, so because it's hard to reach on this corner, the other end, so make sure to put it there.
So just on the corners, especially on the bottom side of it, it won't come out.
Mostly these ones are okay. These hold in place pretty tight, but when you put it here, but I'm gonna put little, you know, just one or two spots there on the side ones. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the gasket in there. It's you know, when it's out, it's hard to find out which way to start. But this thing is actually the top, this part of it. I don't know if you can see here. Yeah, this part. So this model number gonna go here. That's where it start from here, and then start moving. Okay, so gasket is in. I'm gonna leave it for next half an hour or so, let it, you know, a little bit set, the silicone, and then we'll put it back. Okay, we're gonna start putting it back together. It's a little bit trickier to put it back together. I just moved all the cables out of the way. Try to, but you know, we'll see what's gonna happen here. so one side is in there. I'm just gonna inspect, make sure gasket is still in place. These are in place for sure, and just gonna visually check everything looks okay here. Yep, and put it back in there. It's gonna sit in place automatically. Once it's in place, we'll know. But before I set this back in there, I'm just gonna make sure all the way the gasket's still in there in its original position. One thing I do notice here is, yeah, it's still, it's not still sitting, freely as it's supposed to. What I noticed is this sensor, because I removed this last time and replaced this, and there was a leak. That's why this time I was thinking maybe I don't have to change it because I just recently changed. But this for sure gonna cause give a little bit of grief, because it won't fit, once it's in there. So I'm gonna remove this so that it sit, freely, and I'm gonna change this anyways now. So the way to remove this centric shaft sensor is just use any flat screwdriver, or I heard it. I used this last time too. I just pry it with thin pry bar, and I was able to remove it before putting it back again. And now see, it's moving freely and shouldn't be any issue to put it back. I'm gonna start tightening the middle screws first, just to hold it in place, and then I'll start tightening the other ones. The trick to tighten all these bolts is always start with the one opposite side, and don't tighten too much. Just start with tightening with the hand first, and then we'll start a little bit tightening all again, every time opposite one. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start using the torque wrench, start tightening for the final.
So I'm just gonna use the drill bit here with the premium part. That's what I use to open it as well, just to hold it in place. And the other important ones are in the back, so obviously we need to use the sensor.
So yeah, I tried to hand tight all the bolts there. Now we need to torque these, and if you have original cover still, and there should be mentioned that the torque, which I have set up here. I have a torque wrench, so I'm gonna start these tightening up all the bolts. So once our bolts are all tight with the specs here, then we're gonna put back this eccentric shaft seal, sensor seal here. So just push it in. Okay, so that should be it. It's just sitting right in there. Then next step is we're gonna put back this Valvetronic motor. So the way to do is just put it back with it, hold with the 2 screws slowly, start pushing it back, and then put the bottom screw back once it's in position, back in position. Yeah, so I'll bring to So it's going to sit right there at one spot, just hand tight the bolts, and then just need to push it a little bit. Okay, and then put the bottom one in the back in there, okay, to once it's in position. So once these are all bolts are in, I'll tighten these up, and then just the connections, just put it back together. Put back all the coils in there, then connect the coils, centric shaft sensor connection here, and once coil back in, connections there, then connect all the fuel injector connections back there. Don't forget this hose back in there, which we removed earlier. So I'm just gonna connect it back because my screws are tight back in there. It's just gonna push it in. Okay, so it's in. That was the one thing back in there. Then these cables gonna go back, connect there, and yeah, and connect the splice and put this back as well. And that's pretty much it. If there's anything, I'll add up in the next part. So Valvetronic motor back in there, just putting these caps in there, and then gonna start putting coils. So make sure just push it all the way in. It's gonna sit here at the bottom. One thing I did is I also checked the because the cover was open, so I also opened and checked the plugs. It was not doing very good on the gas, so I figured I might check this one as well. And I don't know if you can see here, so this was pretty bad, all the plugs, so I already changed all plugs as well. One thing I want to add, as I mentioned about this, in some videos I've noticed they ask to, you know, unscrew from here, release the tension, and, you know, then open it up. I figured, you know, it's okay to do without that as well. It's a little bit complicated, you know, to unrelease the tension. As long as you know, you hold this. Once this screw is open, bolt is open, so, you know, just lose a little bit both sides and just hold it. At one point, when the bolts are in there, it's gonna just, you know, jump a little bit, release the tension even before removing all the screws. So it's gonna release the tension anyways once you're removing this, but only point is just hold it so the pressure is not on the bolts. Okay, so holes are in there. I'm just gonna connect this back here. Now what we're gonna do is move this on here and connect our fuel jet injectors. So which is pretty much to push from one side, keep going to the other side, and you will hear the click. And I'm just gonna go right at the bottom, so here, and these are ground connections, and that's gonna go back into his place, which is much here. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, I'll put this back together for the time being, and if there's anything I'll add. So after changing all the cover, gasket, and all 6 spark plugs, so finally car is on now. I'm hoping this will for sure affect mileage as well, but one thing is there's no, I just checked already, there's no leak now, at least down there. There was some oil residue before on the down there, which is causing a little bit smoke right now because I just turned it on and it's heating up. So otherwise this can be okay. Hopefully this video will be helpful.
Please like and share for us. And subscribe.